What's good, everybody? Thank you for coming back. I really appreciate it. This video is mainly about just the coolness of using a capo. The coolness of it is that beginners use a capo in order to make playing guitar easier. But guess what? Pros use a capo as well. So it's one of those devices that help you to diversify how you use the guitar. Using a capo is also very useful in recording situations as well. All right, so yeah, just wanted to make a note of that. Now, a quick recap, quick recap. Please listen. I have a video talking about your alphabet. And if you know your alphabet, there are certain parts of learning music that you don't have to memorize. So if you know the first 7 letters of the alphabet, you know A through G. That's what the first 7 letters of the alphabet is, A through G. And keeping this rule in mind that there are 7 notes, just know that there are 5 sharps and flats, okay, in between A through G, but just keep in mind that in between B and C, there are no sharps and flats. And in between E and F, there are no sharps and flats. So if you can keep that in mind and just go watch the video, that it actually explains it in better detail. But I'll do like a shotgun review. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But in between A and B, there's a sharp and a flat. But that sharp and the flat is the same note. It's just 2 names for the same note. All right. That is A sharp, B flat. When you get to B, again, there are no sharps and flats between B and C. So you go straight to C. All right. After C, you got C sharp, D flat. C sharp, D flat is the same note. Go to D. After D, you got D sharp, E flat. Same note. Then you go to E. Then there's no sharp or flat. After E, you go straight to F. Then F sharp, G flat. Same note. F sharp, G flat is the same note. So if someone says F sharp, it's the same as G flat, the same. Then you go to G. Then G sharp, A flat, that's the same note. Then you go back to A. If you know how to keep those rules, those couple of rules in mind, first of all, you already know A through G. You already know that part. You know A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You just have some stuff in between to consider to help you to be able to locate notes on this fretboard. The additional thing that you have to actually memorize are the note names of the open strings of this guitar on the neck right here, because this piece right here is called the nut. Okay, the strings rest on this in this place right here, and the tuning pegs are tuned to a certain tension that tunes each string to a note. All right, here is E, A, D, G, B, E. All right. So memorize those. And I said something weird, like every apple drops to the ground before you eat it or something like that. That was like the way that you can remember the notes, on the whatever. Memorize those. Okay. So that you know where to go from there. All right. So for example, you can go starting with this E, this open E, which is the low string. All right. Technically, it's the 6th string. You count from this way on up. So 1st through 6th. And also another little tip, the 1st and 6th string are the same note. They're just 2 octaves apart. Okay, so they are 2 octaves apart, but they're the same note. So whatever fret you're in, if you're in the 5th fret here and you're playing an A, well, that's also A. So just keep that in mind. So technically, you're only memorizing 5 strings. Easy, right? Easy. So keeping in mind that the higher up on the neck that you go, the higher the note is as well. Well, if this is an E, and you know that there are no sharps and flats between E and F, then you know that this next note, this 1st fret right here, is an F. All right. And if you know that there's a sharp or flat after the F before you go to G, well, this next one is a F sharp, but it's also a G flat. All right. And then you go to G. So this 3rd fret on this E string is a G. It actually cuts down on what you have to memorize. It cuts down just because you know the alphabet, just because you know your ABCs and you did your stuff when you were like 2 and you started learning the ABCs. You can apply that to learning music. And you can apply that to learning an instrument just because you know A through G. So that was like a shotgun approach to explaining what I explained on that video. And that may be enough for you, but if it's not enough for you, just go watch it real quick. Now, I made another video. Actually, I made a series of videos explaining how to play every single main chord within the key of C. So all of the major and minor chords within the key of C, as well as the half diminished chord. Okay, I show you how to play that. Now there is an entire playlist, and since there are 7 notes within a major key, there's also a chord that belongs to each note. All right, and there's a chord that belongs to each scale. I show you what those chords are in like these 2 to 3 minute videos, an entire playlist. You can go through that and learn every single one. The importance of you learning every single chord is because a lot of you want to learn songs. Myself, as well as other guitar teachers, are showing you how to play these songs. You're not memorizing these songs, and you're not learning these songs effectively because you don't know your chords. You know E, you might know your C major, you might know a couple of chords, but you know, as a guitar teacher, I teach more than guitar. First of all, this channel is really about recording guitar, okay? But it's no fun recording guitar if you don't know how to play guitar, you know? And actually, recording guitar is what taught me guitar. That's what helped me to get better at guitar. And one of the many effective ways of learning guitar is if you record it, because it actually, you can actually measure your progress by recording it. Okay, just keep that in mind. You know, it's all sorts of tricks to just keep your attention and to spice up your learning journey of learning guitar as well as recording music. And you just, you know, hit the record button on GarageBand if you have a Mac or something like that. And if you have a PC, just download Audacity and record, even if you're using the mic on your laptop. Anyhow, next thing, learn the chords within the key of C, okay? Here is the magic of a capo, all right? Imagine this nut right here. Imagine that is your capo. Imagine it's even your index finger. Some of you are learning bar chords, okay? And you use your index finger in a lot of ways as a capo, or you can use it as a nut, basically, okay? Keep the key of C in mind because we're only referencing the key of C chord shapes, all right? If you know what I have previously explained to you, meaning your notes, okay, and you know those chord shapes, well, now you basically position yourself to play every single key on this guitar, all right? Every single key, and there are 12, all right? So this means the key of A sharp, which is the same thing as B flat. So the key of A sharp, the key of B, the key of C, so on and so forth, all the way up to G sharp, A flat, and back to A. Today, we're going to reference C. This is why you have to know your C shapes. Now, there are multiple ways that you can do this, and you can do this, you can use this capo more than how I'm explaining this. And there are many guitar teachers who actually show this method. When you learn your C major chords, okay, within the key of C, remember, okay? Or I can put my capo here, let's just say my second fret, meaning it's going to change the whole key, okay? But if I imagine that this is my nut now, okay? Imagine this is this, I just slid it down 2 frets, okay? And I play the same chords. I played the same exact shapes, okay? The same shapes within the key of C. Now, these notes are no longer, we're no longer playing the key of C. But if we know that we went down 2 frets, okay, and we know that this is our C right here, I mean, this is still a C. But because we know our notes, we have to know how to count our frets, keeping our notes in mind to locate the key that we're now in. So now if we move this nut down 2 frets, okay, meaning using our capo. So imagine that our capo is here and we move it here and we move it here, 2 frets. So this means that we have transposed 2 steps, or 2 half steps, sorry about that. 2 half steps, which is really a whole step, to the key of D. So now, instead of our 3rd fret being C on the A string, now our 3rd fret from the capo is technically the 5th fret on that A string. So you got to keep that in mind. So the 5th fret from the nut is actually the D. So since this capo is on the 2nd fret, which is 2 half steps from the nut, you're now playing a D major. Now, you don't have to memorize every single thing that I'm saying. I'm just showing you that the possibilities of using this capo, the possibilities, this is the what? I think it's by Planet Waves. Yeah, Planet Waves capo. That's what I'm using. So anyway, you can use any capo. It really doesn't matter. But I can play these chords without a capo, first of all. All right. I can play a D. That is an open D, okay? I can play that same D. I can use my index finger and bar it. I can use a bar. But some of us need a little bit of help right now, okay? Need a little bit of encouragement using a capo. And you put it on. And if you can't do bar chords right now, well, you can do open chords using the capo. Again, if you know your open C major chords, all the chords within the key of C. And this is just to start, okay? You can move your capo around and play every single key starting with C. And I can move it down and we're in C sharp now, okay? This is C sharp because I'm playing a C sharp major right here. If I move this to the 3rd fret, well now this is D sharp, okay? This is actually D sharp, E flat. And I'm gonna do it again. All right, so now we're actually in E. All right, we are in E. Now, again, this is more so for beginners, but you will see some people move their capo up here. All right. And still use the same chord. Okay. I played the same shapes, the same exact shapes in that key of C, only using this capo, moving it up to this, moving the capo up to higher frets. All right. Now, at some point, it starts to start over, basically. And when it starts over, you don't want to play way up here in these high frets. But basically, the point that I'm wanting to drive home is that this is a very effective tool, and you can also use it with other keys. You can do it with other keys. You can do it with other open positions. And the key of C is not the only key that you can play open chords. You can play other chords, other keys, okay? Like I can play a E major, okay? So that's the key of E major, but you don't have as many chords that you can play in the open position. But C, the key of C, has more chords that you can play in the open position. All right. All right. The same with the key of A. You can't do as much. You can do a few chords. Maybe you can, but there is one chord that you're technically not doing in the open position. But the key of C is probably the easiest key. And when I say key, I mean a set of notes, basically, that belongs to the major key. It's just a set of notes. But why is this important though? Because the key of C is important because if you can learn the chords and rearrange the order of these chords, okay, once you learn them, you'll notice that these different chords and the order of these chords are used in many, many, many songs. And the reason why it's important to know how to transpose using a capo is because if you know how to make those connections, I can basically tell you what key a song is in, and I can tell you what the chord progression is, and you can play the chords easily, all right? And you can play the chords without using some fancy tool. And I'm not against a fancy tool. I'm not against the little tools that play the chords for you. I really like those. But if you're able to play the chords, I would encourage you to learn how to play the chords, all right? I mean, we have people playing guitar with their feet. If you have people playing guitar with their feet, and you have people playing guitars all sorts of creative ways, if you have fingers, you can play these chords, all right? So I know I don't want to ramble, but just know you can do lots of things with a capo, lots of advanced things as well as lots of beginner things. And once you are in the guitar playing world, you are a musician, okay? But don't be lazy. Practice, all right? And I'm actually showing you something that really does work. You just have to do it. It's not going to fall in your lap. You know your alphabets. Use it. Use it to help you to locate the notes on the guitar so that you can move around the guitar, especially using a capo. It's not a lot. So very quickly, I'm actually going to do this in this video. Maybe this will be helpful now. On the A string, okay, on this A string, which is the 5th string up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A. 3rd string, 3rd fret is your C. And this is how you reference the C major chord shape for beginners. Now, an advanced individual can find C in other places. You can play C in a bunch of places. Okay, but right now we're doing open. Okay, when you know that, then you know that this C, and you keep in mind that alphabet method that I was just telling you about. This is C sharp, D flat. This is D, D sharp, E flat, E, F, F sharp. Okay, this F, same as this F. F sharp, G flat, G, all right, G sharp, A flat, A. So up here is A, then you go to A sharp. That's pretty much where it stops, okay? As far as playing that C shape, that's where it stops, all right? Is A sharp, B flat. This is where it stops. You don't have to bring the capo no further than that, all right? But just keep that in mind. But if I have my capo here, which is actually is this the 10th fret? So you got 3rd fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, 9th fret, 10th fret. I'm going to put this capo on this 10th fret right here. Yeah, it's the 10th. I should know that by heart. Now you're playing. All right. Now I will say, if you're playing chords this high up, you know, it's going to feel a little different, but I mean, it works. It works. These are high notes, but it works. All right. If you want to do something more melodic. So, and you're in the key of A sharp. Now, how do I know this is the key of A sharp? Well, you can play this down here too. But if you know how to count that alphabet, and I'm here to help with that. First of all, I'm here to help with that, but I have to know that you all are engaging with what I'm saying. But yeah, that's pretty much where you want to stop the capo. I want to know that this is connecting, that what I'm saying is actually connecting. and that you understand the reason why this is effective, and you see this as a very effective way that you can learn any key, learn how to play it right off just using this capo. But don't think of it as cheating, because I still use the capo to this day, and I've been playing for 20 years. All right. So I think that's all I have to say. I think that's all that I have to say. And I think that I articulated effectively. I think that I was clear, but very quickly though, just because I just feel like rambling on. You can click off if you've learned everything that you've needed to learn. I might talk a little slow for some of you, but that's okay. If the way that I talk is good for you, stay and listen. So anyway, we're in the key of C now, right? And when I put this in this first fret, we're now in the key of, we now can play in the key of C sharp. That is a C sharp major. Now we're playing a D major. I'm gonna do it again. This is one of the screw-on capos. It's actually a D sharp, E flat. Now this is an E. And mind you, I can play all of these chords without a capo, so just keep that in mind. This is an F because F comes after E. There's no sharp or flat between E and F. So that's F. All right. Here is F sharp. Here is G. Here's G sharp, A flat. All right, after G sharp, A flat, we're back to A. We're playing A right now. Then when we go to this next one, we're actually on the 10th fret again, A sharp, I believe, I think. Then we're on the 11th fret. I kind of lost where I am, but I think this is B. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is B. And then once we're at that 12th fret, we're starting back over again. And at this point, I can't even put the capo there, but. And then we're back to C again. That's why I said it starts back over basically. So if you put this on the third place, you're basically you're starting over again. Okay. So I think that I've explained my case. You can play in every single key. First of all, you can play in every single key without a capo, just to keep that in mind. But the capo is very useful. It's very useful. And if you understand the two or three things that I explained, the overarching things, which is your alphabet, and keeping in mind that the alphabet between A and G, and knowing those rules that I explained as far as like the sharps and flats between the notes. Okay, there are only 5 sharps and flats, not another 7. Okay, there's only 5, because between B and C, there's no sharp and flat, and between E and F, there's no sharp and flat. And I'm saying that in the very simple way for those of you. There are other rules that an advanced player understands, but I'm not going to mention that right now. Okay, but just keep that in mind. B, C, E, F, no sharp and flat. Okay. And learn your C major key chords. All right. And then use the capo. That's it. And if you understand the number system, meaning we're going to use C major scale as a reference. If you know that scale, all right, which you kind of know it from learning the chords, don't think of this as an added thing to learn. Don't think of that. Some of you are intimidated by learning too much or not being able to retain the rules. And I'm working to eliminate those rules because you know the alphabet, and just put the work in. But if I were to count these notes in the scale, there are 7 notes in the scale. So if you know what number the note falls on, then you know that the C is 1. The next note is 2. I can call the note names, but I'm just going to say the next note is 2. This is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, back to 1. Now, once you learn that, you can extend that 1 to an 8, and then you can go up to 14, and that's where you get extended chords. But right now, we're keeping it to the 7, okay, and back to 1. All right, but that's where you get jazz chords and all that other stuff. All right, you're playing extended chords. If you have questions, I can go into further depth. Now, the way I might go into further depth is, you know, a private group or something like that. I can do that. I got to know you want it. All right. I don't want to, you know, aim blindly thinking that it's something that you want to learn. But yeah, this is a easy concept, and I use it to this day if I need to. You know, it depends. It depends on what the style of playing is. All right. All right. Yo, subscribe, like, share. I don't be liking to say that, but you know, I realize that I do have to say it. Because you may not think to do it. So yeah, please subscribe, share it, all those things. It will be very helpful to me. And as I am teaching guitar, this is really something that leads to recording. All right. Because really recording, music production, podcasting, those are my main things because it involves recording. All right. I want you to have something to record. You got to have something to record instead of just, you know, I just think that playing music, you know, you'll feel a certain level of accomplishment by having an actual instrument, and you can use a keyboard if you wanted to as well. So, all right, I think that I'm done, and I love you. You're creative. Okay. Remember that. And you know, we'll just learn more things. All right. Hope everything is well, and see you again.